Hello everyone, good day. I am Abigail Romares. Welcome to my presentation. For today's video, I'm going to talk about Filipino traits and characteristics. Every nationality has a unique set of traits, characteristics, beliefs, and values that were passed down from ancestors. Filipinos, like everyone else, have their own list of norms and manners. Those characteristics are still present now, and the majority of them will be passed down to the future generations. There are two kinds of Filipino traits, positive traits and negative traits. Let us begin with the positive, the Filipino positive traits. First is faith in God. We Filipinos are known for a strong religious faith. Even in the midst of the most difficult circumstances, our faith stays unwavering. We may have different religions in different sectors of our country, but what is consistent is that we all have one strong form of faith. Spirituality is deeply ingrained in Filipinos. Religion and faith continue to play an important role in Filipino society and daily life. Filipino families gather at churches and mosques to pray. Religion and faith influence many Filipinos' values and principles. Our intrinsic piety allows us to understand and accept reality from the perspective of God's will. Next is close family ties. In the Philippines, family comes first. Filipinos are devoted to their families. Having close family ties is one of the great cultural traits that Filipinos possess and continue to practice today. We enjoy the feeling of having and knowing family members are around us, from cousins, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. Some families share their homes, celebrate holidays, and lend a hand to relatives when it is needed. The family is the central focus of the Filipino community. Children are not expected to leave their parents' homes until they marry, and even then, many couples choose to live with or near their parents or their spouse's parents. This is why it is common to see different generations or multiple families living in a single residence in the Philippines. The value that Filipinos place on caring for one's family can also be seen as one of the reasons why nurses and caregivers from the country provide a high level of care to their patients and clients. Third is welcoming to visitors. The Philippines and its people are well known for their hospitality. Warmly welcoming visitors comes so effortlessly to us Filipinos. It appears naturally in our systems. When we have people visit our homes, whether locals or foreigners, we always welcome them with smiles, conversation, and food. We provide our guests with food, entertainment, and if time allows, a tour of the local attractions. Many Filipinos go out of their way to make guests feel like VIPs, So if you find yourself in a Filipino home, don't be startled if you're not allowed to help with anything. Guests are rarely asked to lift a finger. Before guests leave, they are encouraged to bring home pasalubong or gifts, which generally come in the form of delicacies and local sweets. The fourth one is obedient and dutiful. Filipinos always acknowledge those that are in authority or those that are superior to them. Even inside the family, children can be found obediently following their parents' instructions. In our culture, we always respect and follow what our parents and other adults advise us to do. Not talking back and trusting the adults around us has always been a part of who we are. From a young age, we are taught to be loyal to our family and elders by simply obeying their authorities for our own good and benefit. Next is respectful. Filipinos are taught from a young age to respect the elderly, not only within the family and among relatives, but also in the community. We Filipinos believe that the elderly have gained the respect of future generations not only because of their age but also because of their acquired wisdom and experience. Paying respect to the elderly or people superior to us is part of our culture and even our language. We use the words po and opo when talking to someone older than us, and we do pagmamano as a sign of respect. When a Filipino child meets an older family member, the youth customarily greet them with a gesture called mano po, taking the older relative's hand and placing it on his or her own forehead to express profound respect for the elderly. Respect for the elderly stems from the importance of family in Filipino culture. Helpful. Filipinos are taught at an early age the value of pagmamalasakit sa kapwa, or knowing how to show concern and empathize with other people. One great example of how Filipino customs portray helpfulness is the act of bayanihan. This is shown in the rural areas of the country by the practice of lipat bahay, literally moving house, in which men from the community help lift a neighbor's entire nipahat and carry it over to its new location. Another concrete example is that whenever there are natural disasters, Filipinos help one another in overcoming and surviving them. When someone needs the assistance of another, Filipinos are always willing and able to lend a hand. Diligent and patient. A majority of our livelihoods in the Philippines are based on agriculture. It takes a lot of back-breaking work to plant the fields. Then it takes patience to care for, water, and harvest it. Because of our country's condition, agriculture, being one of our key sources of income, has contributed to these characteristics of Filipinos. Filipinos put in a lot of effort when it comes to planting and gathering. Filipinos are hardworking and patient in planting and harvesting in the midst of intense heat and unpredictable rainfall in order to put food on the table and to make a living. Next is resourceful and creative. Filipinos are best known as hard workers, displaying resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness in their daily lives. These uniquely Filipino qualities help them stand out and rise to the top of their respective workplaces. Filipinos have learned to adapt to their surroundings despite being labeled as third world countries. As a result, the Filipinos mastered the art of improvisation by repurposing waste into usable items. We are well known for our talent and creativity. Filipinos make do with what they can find in their environment. It is shown in the millions of Filipinos who bravely survive the most difficult economic and social situations, particularly now when the country is in the grip of a pandemic. Cheerful. Since Filipinos have been through a lot of trials in history, Filipinos have learned not to be depressed. Filipinos often find themselves in a struggle to survive for just a day. In response to this, they tend to cheer themselves up and just laugh their problems off. Even in bad situations, Filipinos find a joke and strive to laugh. Through the ages, Filipinos have experienced different kinds of catastrophes and calamities. When faced with the hardships of life, Filipinos simply bend, but never break. Filipinos go with the flow and use humor and positivism as a coping mechanism. Cheerful Filipinos are born with the ability to see the good in the midst of the bad. That is how Filipinos are. Last but not the least, thrifty and frugal. We Filipinos dislike wasting anything because we don't have much. We take care of what we have because we know it will serve us well for a long time. We don't spend money on just about anything we desire unless it's really necessary. Because the majority of Filipinos are struggling financially, it is necessary to be thrifty and frugal. We Filipinos are taught from a young age to store coins in piggy banks for future use. The majority of Filipinos believe that one should spend less and save more. In addition, one can secure a comfortable life in the future by sacrificing current pleasures. Sale shopping is an example of Filipino thriftiness, with people flocking to Divisoria, the Tianguez, Ukay-Ukay, and the bazaars to find the special discounts. Let us now move on to the next topic, the Filipino negative traits. First is Ningas Kugon. Filipinos have a tendency to start something eagerly but lose momentum and do not finish or achieve long-term goals. It literally means the burning of Kugon grass, which burns brightly only during the few seconds after it is lit. It is a manner of doing things well at first, but as it goes along, it gets worse. This habit expressed in the phrase, sa una lang magaling. Second is mañana habit. This is a common tendency or practice among Filipinos to postpone till tomorrow what might be done today. Mañana means mamayana, the tendency to delay tasks until it is too late. It's a habit that there's always a later or tomorrow until you reach the deadline. Mañana habit is a procrastination that has evolved into a way of life. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why the Philippines is still an underdeveloped country. Filipinos often put off doing things until it is too late. Crab mentality. Filipinos sometimes get so jealous of other people's successes that they find a way to pull the other person down, rather than strive to be better. Another negative aspect of Filipino characteristics is how insecure we can become about someone who is on his or her way to success, to the point where we find a means to bring that person back down. People are like crabs in a bucket. Crabs will gang up and hold other crabs inside the bucket, trapping one another so that no one can reach the top and achieve success. The fourth one is colonial mentality. It is the idea of cultural inferiority among Filipinos. Filipinos believe that the foreign talents and products are always better, superior, and ideal, and that local ones are of poor or no quality at all. As a result, Filipinos buy foreign products more than they would buy locally manufactured products. If something is made in America or by a foreign brand, we think it is of a greater quality. We have this mentality that traps us in admiring foreign brands above our own, which is one of our negative traits. Next is bahala na. When confronted with an unresolved circumstance, Filipinos frequently let fate decide what will happen. The word bahala is actually a derivative of the word bathala, which refers to the ancient supreme being worshipped by Filipinos during the pre-Spanish period. The word bahala na reflects the Filipino predisposition to humbly submit all to the higher being amid difficult times. It might be seen as a type of fatalistic submission or a way to absolve oneself of responsibility for one's actions. It is our Filipino concept that kapalaran, fate, provides self-assurance that whatever happens, happens. Sore losers. Many times, Filipinos become very competitive and hate losing. At times, when we lose, we find a way to get even. When we lose, we typically do not accept it completely. To avenge ourselves, we Filipinos may find fault or make mistakes with our opponents. During a beauty pageant, for example, if our candidate does not win, we tend to attack the winner and point out flaws that show she is not deserving the throne. In short, we Filipinos find it difficult to accept defeat. The last one is lack of discipline. It is one of the negative characteristics of Filipinos. Pollution, traffic rules, and respecting the law are the things that Filipinos tend to disregard. Filipinos like selling goods in the streets, beat the red lights, and disposing of waste in inappropriate locations. The first image depicts how Filipinos violate traffic laws. Jaywalking has long been prohibited, but Filipinos continue to ignore it despite the risk of an accident. Here are some Filipino positive traits.
Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, iligtas mo kami sa kasalanan.
Matagal nang ipinagbabawal ang jaywalking o pagtawid sa hindi tamang tawiran. Ilang aksidente na ang naitala dahil dito. Pero marami pa rin ang nasanay na sa mali, gaya ng mga ito na nakikipagpatintero sa mga sasakyan sa EDSA.
Wala po kasi ma'am daan ng pagod na kabilang mga gaya ng footbridge ma'am. Doon naman sa May pedestrian naman po doon, kaya na malayo naman masyado.
Ang mga ito naman, sige lang sa pagtawid, bitbit pa ang mga paninda. Gayong malinaw sa harang na bakal na bawal ang tumawid.
Mas mabilis po, mas convenience po dito sa baba kaysa aakyat kami ng footbridge. Nasasanay na po kami, hindi naman po kami basta-basta banggain ng sasakyan kasi nakasinyas naman po kami.
Which Filipino traits have you seen in your family and friends? Which Filipino traits do you see in yourself? How can you change your negative traits into positive attitudes? I would love to hear your thoughts. That would be all. I hope you've learned something. Thanks for watching.